Hello, this is going to be attempt number 3 at U.S. metro areas. This map, it's by AJ011. He's a fellow YouTuber. Check out his videos. He has some really good competitive U.S. Geoguessr videos. I really enjoy this map too. It contains the 384 U.S. MSAs, aka Metropolitan Statistical Areas. I've been playing this map no moving, which has been a lot of a challenge, but I've really enjoyed it. So we're going to go 10 minutes around, no moving again, and we're going to get as close to 25k as possible. It's a tall order, especially when we're angled away from these license plates, right? So looking ahead, New York plate for sure. It has that distinctive blue line at the top and then the yellow field. Now we are just right in between two cars and it's very difficult to see where we are. Shady Acre Drive? I mean, is that the most cliched named street of all time? Yep, we're on Shady Acre Drive. There's a guy walking his dog. I swear to God, whenever I am like almost sickened by how like generically American a place looks, I think Long Island. And it's no different. I think we're on Long Island. I was in Long Island in the first round on a previous iteration of this map, and I just think we're in a different place on Long Island here. I mean, all I'm getting is one plate, and then the fact that this BMW in front of me does not have a front plate, that's not inspiring confidence. It's really not. But the only visible plate we have is New York. So I think that's what all I have to go off of, unfortunately. We're also looking due west towards the water, and then across the water to some more land. So it's like we are at some sort of inlet, pointing towards the south. All of that, I think, would be supportive of Long Island. Would it not? See, we have a lot of these inlets here on Long Island, and you look across them to obviously the other side, but the one that I'm looking at seems pretty wide. Seems pretty wide indeed. I mean, could we possibly be out farther in the Hamptons? I think that may be the most plausible. We're looking southwest towards a bay, and then on the other side of the bay, we have what looks to be, I mean, I can't tell if it is more residential neighborhoods, but it's like a bay. Southwest. Could we also be like on this north part of outer Long Island? I think that would seem plausible. Okay, so when I was in Patchogue, I thought we were in like Massapequa. I saw those bungalows and I was like, but we were really farther out. So now we're in, I mean, these are yards. These are big yards for Long Island, I would say. These are like estates. Look at that house. That's almost like a beach kind of house, maybe, right? That like somebody would rent for the summer, maybe out in the Hamptons. Are we really out in the Hamptons? I've never been dropped out there. I really think that Patchogue round, North Patchogue, is like the farthest I've been out on Long Island. Certainly in real life, but I think also in Geoguessr. But given this bay out here, it's just that white picket fence, that New York plate. I feel like this has got to be the Hamptons. But again, I'm only getting like one New York plate. We'd be down here in like South Jersey or something, and we're looking across the Delaware Bay to the southwest. I mean, it's plausible. But these houses, I've never been to the Hamptons, but are these the kind of houses I should be imagining? I mean, they're huge. It looks like Jay Gatsby might live in one. Ooh, huh. Wow, that gave me something. So the Great Gatsby is right up, like, it was set right up here. And the eggs, Port Washington, Kings Point, Great Neck. Ooh, is this Great Gatsbyville? Is this the land of Gatsby? That would be looking due west across this bay, and these bays are like a little bit bigger. I like this. I like this. Yeah, but like that house right there. Let me think. I think if we were out in the Hamptons, maybe this is just stereotypical, but I think if we were out in the Hamptons, I think the houses would be even nicer. Like that blue house I was looking at, I'm not going to say that could be like a patch hog house, but could that be like a patch hog or a hop hog house? I mean, could that be a house in the Ronkonkoma, hometown of Colin Quinn? I mean, I don't know. I think we're up here in Gatsby land. I like that. I mean, something like made me think. Because then we would be going like southwest, mostly west. We would be looking across like a pretty sizable bay, and then we'd be looking across another point. I think we're like in somewhere like Great Neck even. Doesn't seem like we're looking at Brooklyn or Queens over there. So maybe here? Sands Point? I like Sands Point. I feel like Sands Point could really fit here. Probably sloping, like generally downhill towards that bay. Alright, is this Great Gatsby land, or is this farther out Long Island? Okay, well, we were in Old Greenwich, Connecticut, but look at how close I was. I think this is like the best wrong state guess I've ever had. 15 miles away. Almost all ocean. Alright, interesting. So that would explain no, that wouldn't explain the lack of the front plate on that one car. Like, I got no Connecticut license plates there. But it looked Great Gatsby-ish. I mean, look at how close that is. Okay, I'll take that for the first round, even though it's wrong state. That's a high score for a wrong state. Alright, well, got some good vibes in that first round, maybe. Maybe not the best possible vibes, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna get here. Jeep. Okay. Front plates everywhere. Somewhere that has an RV. Huh. Yep, with some blue plates on it. With some blue plates. King Street, King Drive. Very difficult to make out. 3500 West is what I believe that says. The first thing that strikes me is that everything is very new. I mean, I think this is Gen 4 coverage, but like, I swear to God, some of these houses look like they were built like last week, right? I mean, this house is like, if there's such a thing as new house smell, that house in front of me has that. And then this first one I was looking at, does that not look like it was almost just erected? I mean, if we were somewhere like Akron, Ohio, or anywhere that's old, really, in America, you're just not going to be seeing stuff like that. I'm sorry, you're not going to be seeing these houses that look like brand spanking new. It's clear we're in the neighborhood of like a metro area. And just everything just looked like it went up yesterday. To me, that vibe and like for it to like be that noticeable, I gotta think we're in Denver. It just everything in Denver's new. Everything in Denver's new feeling. It's new. I mean, if you see a bunch of construction out in a big field somewhere, I would guess Denver. Nobody's building millions of condos out in like pastures anywhere in the US except Colorado, out by Denver Airport. You're not going to see that in Omaha. You're going to see that in cities that have really limited housing stock that are really, really, really new. Now, that sign way up on that pole in front of me, I can't tell whether that's like an official sign. It looks very like Wild West almost. Or is it just like somebody's garage sign, sale sign or something? Gravel yards, but a mix. We get like a lot of grass, but we also get like some of these gravelly yards. People don't want to mow their new, you know, $900,000 house, wherever this is. I gotta say, it's difficult, but I'm thinking that's a Colorado plate. It looks mildly green on the top, and it looks like that kind of jagged mountain design at the top. Isn't this always the way? I wish we were just like 10 feet to the left. We could see the front plate on that Jeep. The first thing that gave me Colorado vibes, besides the newness of a lot of the buildings, I mean, this house has been there for a while, right? But that's probably a gentrification holdout. This Jeep just gives me those vibes. This like old Jeep. Look at how many Jeeps. It's sort of like if you see massive F-150s everywhere, you might be in Texas. If you see those kind of like small Jeep Cherokees everywhere, I just feel like everybody in Denver or Colorado owns one of those. They're just real popular. Wish I could see the cross street. Now, nothing strikes me about this sign, though. The street sign as Denver. That's the problem. But I feel like I'm making out a Colorado plate there. I feel like I might be making out a Colorado plate there. Maybe. Yeah, that one is almost even better because I think those two are unblurred. I think I'm gonna go Denver here. And I think these street sweeping signs are rather Denverish. I've spent a lot of time walking around both Denver and Colorado Springs, and I'm just really feeling like this is one or the other. I don't think we're going to get any help from mountains. We're not going to get any view to the west of like anything, I don't think. King Street. 3,500, I think that says west. Where would 3,500 west put us in Denver? West. So I would assume we would be west of downtown. Pretty safe assumption. King Street, 3,500 west. So it looks like King is north-south. And if we are at 3,500 west, yeah, that would put us there. Okay. Pierce. I mean, certainly there is a possibility that we are not in Denver. I mean, there's a possibility we're in the Springs. That the kind of like older houses are maybe lending that kind of little vibe to me. But see, the problem is the grid system would be different. And for us to be west, that's difficult in Colorado Springs. It would be difficult to be at 30, 5th west, right? Like right here. We'd have to be at the extreme end of Old Colorado City, and yeah, we're not there. We're not there. Denver? Denver just seems the most plausible. It really does. Could we be in one of its suburbs? Yeah, most definitely. Just with King Street, it's just not. Looks like it's a pretty minor street, TBH. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's. I'm just gonna go straight west in Denver. Go out to about, what, 30, 3,500. Yeah, there's King Street. Okay. Seems plausible. Wow, I really, really wish I could read that street sign. It's at such an extreme angle. I'm gonna get very close and stop talking, because then I'm gonna get very close to the mic. Okay. I swear that looks to me like a number. Like 26th, 24th, 23rd. It might be something like 30, but I don't think. It's a number that starts with 2. I think I would bet. So that would put us up here. Sloan Lake in Denver. Yeah, see what King Street does in Sloan Lake, though. Like, goes all around. And is anything else going to help us? Okay, I mean, King Street, we are east-west. King Street's north-south. That all makes sense. So we're going to be a little bit west. 23rd Avenue Sculpture Studio? Is that what we're looking at? Don't think we're getting any addresses, but I think we've narrowed it down to the neighborhood in Denver. Under a minute left. How high do I want to go up King Street? 3500 West. We've seen that. Okay, I'm going to try to get one more look at the street sign. Yeah, maybe like 22nd, 23rd, 24th. 24th, I think, is a good guess. And that would be a 5K on round 2 in Denver. 24th and King. Okay, we found it. Just worked it all out. Denver. Yeah, look at how close that is to downtown. Ooh, we were close to Meow Wolf, Denver. That place is really cool. Go check that out for sure. Haven't spent a lot of time west of Mile High Field in Denver, but I knew it was super new build like this. Cool. Like the 5K in Denver. This is not gonna be good. Why are we in parking lots? Public storage. This is not gonna be good. This is really not. There's a bus over there. It's got a red top. No help whatsoever on any of these cars. I mean, we get a plate at least. It looks just very generic. It's just blue. It's just blue. I think looks a little hilly. Looks mildly hilly. Is that fair? Yeah, pickup truck. I just got done talking about pickup trucks. This wood building that we're in front of is pretty interesting. Almost reminds me of like a log cabin kind of motif or something. Like, I don't know, could we be in like Montana or somewhere? We are looking at. It's hard to tell what kind of trees we're looking at. This is a rando parking lot round. They really appear to be largely deciduous, though. There are a couple pines scattered in. Here's a pine. My question is that a southern pine? Doesn't really look like one, to be honest. Could be one. Could be one. Jeep, SUV, pickup truck. Is that gonna give us anything? Looks like big office building. I mean, this is so generic. Come off of a good round in Denver, and then I just get in a parking lot in just absolute nowhere. It does kind of look a little hilly, though. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a little bit like Appalachian? Like mid-Atlantic going into the south, even? Like, it does not give me any kind of Western vibes at all. The only thing that gives me Western vibes is this building. And that's maybe only because it's made of wood. Maybe that's not, like, the best line of thinking. And then there, like, seems to be kind of a proliferation of pickup trucks and SUVs, although, you know, I could be talking about anywhere in America there, right? Huh. This isn't a good round, is it? Maybe we'll recover in 4. That bus, though. That bus kind of looks like very vaguely familiar. It really does. I don't know why. I guess like all forms of public transit look familiar to me. I've probably been on a lot of them. Why is this building telling me like Montana, but like nothing else about this is doing that? I really think the only thing I'm going to have to go off of is this plate. So what could this plate be? The only thing I'm thinking is North Carolina. North Carolina kind of has these like white, vaguely pale blue plates. It would be a little kind of Appalachian and hilly looking like this. Where would it be in North Carolina, though? It would have a bus. Could we be in Charlotte? I mean, would Charlotte even be a decent hedge here? I mean, I'm so lost that I'm not even sure what would be a good hedge. I think I'm going to have to go process of elimination off this plate. Where could we be, and where does this plate tell us that we're not? Think I got to start big. We're east of the Mississippi, most definitely. Not in New England. Vibe is just so not New England. I mean, I think we're like zoomed in. Like, it's not Michigan. It's not Chicago. It's definitely not Upper Midwest. If it's anywhere in the Midwest, it's Lower Midwest. Like, I would venture to guess like the farthest north we could be here would be like 70, I-70. Indianapolis, Columbus, Philly. I bet you we're in this box. Although, could we be somewhere outside the box? Could we be in Connecticut? No, not a Connecticut plate. Not a New York plate. Could this be New England and it's messing with me? I don't think so. No. Tennessee plate would be greener. It would be greener. West Virginia plate, no. Nope. Indiana plate, Illinois plate, no. No to Alabama. No. No to everywhere in this square except North Carolina. So it just doesn't look like it though. It really doesn't. I think we'd have to be like more Appalachian, North Carolina. And I think if we were down like Piedmont, even in Charlotte, I'd be getting those like Southern Pine vibes. Yeah, even in Charlotte, I'd be getting those vibes, I think. I think we got to be north of there. Virginia, Maryland. Could that be a Virginia plate? I think Delawares are blue. Definitely not in Pennsylvania. with no moving a lot of the time. Could it be a Missouri plate? Kansas. Bus. We're not in Philadelphia. That's not a Maryland plate. Could it be a DC plate? DC would fit some of this. I think Virginia would fit some of this. Maybe even a little bit better than North Carolina. Yeah. Maybe even better. I thought Virginias were just kind of like Texas. Thought they were kind of like just black and white. Norfolk, Virginia. All right, I was in Raleigh, kind of over in the right direction. I should have gone back to North Carolina. Should have been more confident in that North Carolina plate. I knew we had to be Eastern. I tell you, I was not. The only thing that told me North Carolina there was that one plate. I just wasn't getting anything else there. So, right region, right region. Okay, well, it's good to see somewhere that at least has some information. We're on an interstate, though, unfortunately. Okay, what kind of interstate has this kind of like very complicated? Oh no, I thought it was like it's like an old electric like letters. I can't read it, but it looked like weird like number like colored squares or something at first. That was tripping me out. But it's just they're just telling drivers something. All right, 15 to Barstow, 91 to the beach cities and to Riverside, 96. Okay, so this is going to take my best pinpointing in California, isn't it? 15 to Barstow, 91 to beach cities and Riverside. So we are going, let's see, northwest to Barstow, 91 to beach cities and to Riverside, okay, off to the northeast. Is that what that says? Yeah, beach cities and Riverside, okay. Those are very far away from one another, so this just confused me for a sec. See, because here's Riverside, up here San Bernardino. There's the 91, for sure. 15 to Barstow would be right here. So I see exactly where we are. Yeah, so if we would go west on the 91, we would be going to the beach cities. So like Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, and then, yeah, going to the east to Riverside. So we're out in Corona, California. I believe Corona would qualify as the Inland Empire, if I am not mistaken. We will be heading southwest on 15 away from this intersection. 91 is, it looks like 3/4 of a mile to the north. So that would likely be that bridge. Would it not? The 6th Street Bridge? Nah, it was the Magnolia Avenue Bridge. So just the next one down. Not bad. 4994. We are in Corona, California, Inland Empire. Where is our last and final seed? Okay, cool. I'm thinking that I know that plate. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, this is good. Oh, we're in Columbus. So that was an Ohio plate as soon as I zoomed in. So that's a new Ohio plate. It's kind of like blue, yellow over here, white blob in the middle. So definite Ohio plate. Bus stops, okay, but these are not normal Columbus, Ohio bus stops. Okay, I'm sorry if you don't care, but I'm going to give you 917 of Columbus region guessing. This is not a Columbus bus stop, okay? I can tell because it's just too fancy. It's too nice. It's green at the top. This is a special Ohio State University bus stop. So I know that we are somewhere on the OSU campus. And I knew that as soon as I panned around, first to this sign. That is not going to get you much of anywhere, probably. It says A, faculty parking, and then it says two-wheel something. So I recognize those signs. You would probably, if you saw those, you would be like, we got to be on a university somewhere. I even recognize the A because I know like that's the best parking pass you can get at Ohio State. If you get the A, I mean, you still got to pay for it. It's probably thousands of dollars a year, but that's the best parking if you're faculty there. So front plate here. Now in Ohio, notice there's a bunch of different plates you'll see. This is the other, perhaps just as common Ohio variation. It's mostly white, and then it has this kind of like red stripe at the top. You'll see a lot of cars in Ohio with no front plates, and then you'll see a lot of cars with front plates. It is because in 2020, the law was passed that we couldn't, or that we could remove the front plates. And then actually that made it way easier for Geoguessr because all of the bordering states around Ohio already had no front plates. So now Ohio is just fitting in instead of being the outlier in the eastern Midwest. So I knew we were looking at an Ohio State University sign. They're just very distinctive. Brady, Woody Hayes Drive. Okay, yep, so that, I know where we are. Even better off of that. Woody Hayes was an old famous Ohio State Buckeyes coach, as you might know, in like the 60s. I should say infamous because he is revered in the Columbus area, but he is reviled in most others because why he got fired was, I believe, might have to go to Wikipedia on this one, but I believe he either punched or strangled a Clemson player when Ohio State played Clemson in like some bowl. But he at the very least physically assaulted an opposing player, so do with that what you will. But we're on Woody Hayes Drive at the Agricultural Building, so OSU campus is humongous, as you might expect, since it's one of the biggest universities, if not the biggest university in America. And I know that since that's an agricultural building, we got to be somewhere on West Campus. Okay, this might be getting a little niche, but let's region guess Ohio State campus. So main campus is over here, running around High Street, running along High Street. So this is where like the Union main academic buildings are going to be. You see Woody Hayes Drive right here, running through the middle of campus. I would say since we're in the agricultural building, we're probably, ooh, maybe not. Yeah, I think we're more like here, but yeah, ag campus parking ice. We're like here because you see those fields, the intramural fields there to the southeast. Yeah, so we are right off of Woody Hayes Drive. Woody Hayes Drive is to the south. And then yeah, that was ag campus parking, food, agricultural, environmental, agricultural engineering building. College of Food Agricultural. So, ooh, coffee. Is this coffee that we're on? Yeah, I feel like it is. I know the coffee goes to the engineering building. I have been there before. Yeah, I've actually been to this building like several times. This food and agricultural building. I just want to see if this lines up, if we're at coffee and Woody Hayes there in this kind of like little campus road. So yeah, we'd be looking due north. We'd be looking a little bit northeast to a path going to the ag building. Yeah, that's exactly where we are. This is crazy. I think this might be the first time. No, I mean, I can't say that. It's not the first time I've been dropped in Geoguessr at a building I've actually been in several times. You know, I've been at like the St. Louis Arch and stuff like that too, but this is getting pretty close to both where I grew up and where I live now. I live in the Columbus metro area, so I immediately recognize those Ohio State University signs. I think this is going to 5K because I'm going to be embarrassed if it doesn't 5K, I'll put it that way. Nice. 0 yards. Cool. So that's a fitting end. It's a fitting, um, certainly a fitting score for Ohio State University. Recognize that instantly, but I hope that I gave you some clues for Columbus. Unfortunately, we didn't see like regular Columbus signs or bus stops or anything else. Like we were like deep in the middle of campus, which is kind of like its own little city within Columbus. So that was a really cool way to end. Okay, and this, I believe, yeah, this is my highest score, no moving so far on this map, so that's cool. Getting closer to a 25K. If only I would have gone a little bit farther into North Carolina. I just kind of mentally gave up, and I really shouldn't have. I should have stuck with the North Carolina, and I should have maybe just gone like, I wouldn't have gone Raleigh, like I'm not gonna lie, but I guess if I would have gone Wilmington, I mean, like, same thing. I think best guess for me on that round would have been Fayetteville. So somewhere pretty close. But let's look at our rounds. Round one. I mean, I think the closest I've ever been, but not been in the correct state. So I thought it was in Sands Point on Long Island, but I was really in Old Greenwich, Connecticut, just like right across the bay. Then second round, 5K. I always love to see 5Ks, no moving. That was in Denver. So strong Denver vibes. I hope that the next time you get Denver, you will be equally as confident. 3, my worst round. That had to have been the North Carolina one. It just, for some reason, did not look like Piedmont, North Carolina. And maybe because it's like all the way there in East Raleigh. Number 4, that was in Corona, California. I got not the right intersection there, but I was on 15. That was our easiest round, too. Should have 5K'd that right from the interstate sign. And then finally, right on Ohio State University campus at the Ag building there at Coffee and Woody Hayes Drive, Columbus, Ohio. So thanks, AJ. 011 again for the map. I'm getting closer. 23,500. Hope to do even better the next round. And thank you for watching.